Hello. This lecture will show you how to manage SQL Server database by using Visual Studio 2019. First, open Visual Studio. Click Continue without code. Then I will link database to show in the Server Explorer. If you don't have the Server Explorer window when start the program, go to View. Select Server Explorer. If it is hidden, show it. Go to View. Select Server Explorer. Then we will link with the database. First, you need to know your server name. Go back to SQL Server. Right-click and select Properties. The server name is on the right-hand side, or you can use localhost. Go to Visual Studio. Click Connect to Database. Or right-click on Data Connection. Select Add Connection. If you want to create new database, click Create New SQL Server Database. Now, I will focus on the database which we created before. To display on Visual Studio, right-click on Data Connection. Then select Add Connection. Make sure that data source is showing Microsoft SQL Server. If not, click Change. Then select Microsoft SQL Server. Click OK. Server name, I show you before, MSI. Select Mode as SQL Server. Fill in username and password. If you want these to auto-filled, click Save My Password. Click Test Connection to see if the connection is successful. Once the connection is installed, it will show database. Select the database to use. Now we are using Employees database. Click Test Connection again. The connection is completed. Go back to SQL Server. We use this database, Employees database. Why do we create a connection? Because we don't want to switch between two programs, which will confuse us. Now the databases show in the Server Explorer. I will change the server name to dot and backslash. It works. Can I entitle localhost? Test connection. It works. I just wanted to show you as example. But the server name is actually MSI. Let recap. Right-click to Properties. Use the server name, as it is show. To avoid confusion, click Save Password here. You won't need to fill in password for next time. Click OK. You'll see Employees database displaying on the Server Explorer. Click Refresh at Data Connection. Click Expand to see if all the table are there. You see there are two tables that we created. If you want to see the data, right-click on the table and select Show Table Data. Now you see data on the SQL Server is now showing on Visual Studio. I will pin on the Server Explorer window. Let's see Department Table. Click Show Table Data. You see there are 5 departments that we created. You can make change to the data here. Let me show you an example. I will use Employees Table. Right-click and select Show Table Data. I will change Tanin 5 to Tanin 555 and Tanin 4 to Tanin 444. Refresh the table. Go back to SQL Server. Refresh the database. Go to Tables and select Employees Data. You will see Tanin 444 and Tanin 555 because the data is updated to here. The method is to reduce confusion from switching between two programs, SQL Server and Visual Studio. We can pull the data to Visual Studio. This is just an example to see the updated data is linked. Next example, we can change table structure. I will change the column name. Right-click on Employees Table. Select Open Table Definition. It will take a while. Then it will show script T-SQL, or Transact SQL. I will change the name of column from phone to phone number. After making change, click Update Database. There is an error occur. Let read to see what went wrong. We have created view and the data is linked to view. Let go to view. Hit refresh. See? We have created view. We will delete it for now. Delete and refresh. Go back to Update Database. Click Update. Now it doesn't show any errors. Click Update Database. At the bottom, it shows Update completed. Go back to SQL Server to see if the column name is changed. Hit refresh. Right-click and select Design. You will see the column name as phone number. It changed from phone to phone number. This is just an example showing that you can make changes on Visual Studio. But I don't recommend. You should not change the table after being created. It might affect linked data, which errors will occur. This shows that making changes like this can lead to errors. It affected view because the column was changed. Now I will unchange it. Phone. Go to Visual Studio to see if it updated. Hit refresh. Right-click to show table data. Phone is now display here. This lecture shows how to connect database from SQL Server to display on the Server Explorer in Visual Studio. That is it for this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Hello. This lecture, I will teach you how to connect C# application to SQL Server database, using Windows Forms application with ADO.NET. In this example, I will create a new C# project. I'm using Windows Forms app.NET framework. Entitled project name is Employee Management. Click Create. For this part, let's expand the Forms window a bit. Click Save All. On your right-hand side, click to show Solution Explorer and Properties window. The Solution Explorer window on top, and the Properties window on the bottom. On your left-hand side is the Server Explorer window. If this window is hidden, click View and select Server Explorer. Now I will create a class to be a center to connect to SQL Server database, and will be used for CRUD operations. You can add, retrieve, update, and delete data. I will write it all in this class. Right-click on the project name. Select Add. Select New Item or Class. For 2019 version, you can select Class here. Give it a short name, db. File format is .cs for C#. Click Add. I would like to add a remark here. When you're working on database, you'll need to add namespace for database management. If you're using Access Database, this will have a different name, as well as SQL Server. Different name for MySQL database also. In this lecture, we will use SQL Server database as our main focus. So, add namespace for SQL Server. Type in using to import data. Using system.data.sql client. This is specifically for SQL Server. Finish the command with semicolon. Then I'll apply another command to display dialog boxes. Using system.windows.forms. This will allow me to input message box. Apply a command under class db. Inside the curly brackets. I will shrink using commands. So we will have more space here. First of all, we need Sql Connection Class. Use instant here. Type in public modifier, followed by the static keyword, and followed by a class name. Class name is SQL Connection. The instant name will be con for SQL Connection. Equals new SQL Connection. Put in connection string in the brackets. I'll put empty string for now. For this part, you can shrink other windows down to create more space. Now you'll see the codes clearly. Enlarge the fonts by hit, Control, and scroll mouse. The codes are now very clear. Now, we have instant for SQL Connection, which is con. I will set value for connection string. Connection string needs to be inside double quotes. It's very easy. In the previous lecture, we have linked database from SQL Server before. Open the Server Explorer window. You see the data connections. You see the linked database under data connections. Right-click and select Properties. On your right-hand side, you will see the connection string. We will use this properties to link. Click on connection string, and hit Ctrl-A. Then use Ctrl-C, or copy. Paste inside the double quotes. So, you don't have to Google about connection string. Change this to localhost. This depends on your server. Localhost is easy to remember. We will use employee database. Delete persist security info. Use ID equals SA. Use your password. Mine is easy. In the beginning, don't complicate the process. The actual password needs to be strong password. I use easy password for education purpose. Now, we have the connection. Instant named, con. And the connection string. I will use class for data management. One of the class is SQL command. Such as, insert, update, delete. Type, public static. SQL command. Give it a simple name. CMD. Equals new, SQL command. Set SQL command value as, empty string. Put in instant of SQL connection, con. What is this empty space for? It's for commands. Insert, update, delete. You can set the value once finish. Now, we have two instances, con and cmd. We need dataset to manage database into table. Public, static, dataset. If the dataset does not appear, type it in. It is because we have not applied namespace yet. Dataset. DS. Nothing displays. Then we need to import it. The program will notify you and suggest to import data. Click on Using System.data. It will appear here. Shrink the window. So, we have dataset to store data. Dataset cannot operate individually. It needs adapter to link with the database. So, we set the adapter here. Public, static. SQL Data Adapter. DA. In this course, we will use the binding navigator control. In order to any records, input the binding source class. Public, static, binding source, BS. We will see this once we use the binding navigator control. Next command. Public, static, string, SQL. This identify either data is select, insert, update, or delete. Later, we will put it here. These are class that we will use. Next, I will show you how to open and close the connection. Very simple. Public, static, void, open connection. Use this method to open the connection. Public, static, void, close connection. Use this method to close the connection. Put in comment, to do. Now, we will open the connection. Input try, and hit double tap. The program will automatically generate the try catch block. The try block allows you to define a block of code to be tested for errors while it is being executed. The catch block is an exception handler block. To notify when the connection fails, use messagebox.show. You cannot type here if you have an import namespace. System.windows.forms. Messagebox.show. Connection failed. Follow by +ex.message. There's an error here. Delete the brackets. This message is string, no need to use toString method. This will notify you when the connection fails. The try block is used for connection. Check if there is a connection. Put in if con.state equals connection state dot closed. If it's closed, open it. Con.open. We want to make sure when the connection is open. Copy and paste message box here. Add con.state.toString. Change quoted text to the connection is. So, this is for open connection. Copy to use for close connection method. Delete to do, and paste. Change the connection state value, from closed, to open. Change the connection method from open to close. Change the message box. Change quoted text to close connection error. Add open connection failed. So, we know which part of process the error occurs. Now, it is ready to be displayed. I will show you all the codes before moving on. These namespace are for importing the .NET classes. If you see namespace in gray, it means that the namespace is not used. You can delete them by right-click and remove unnecessary using commands. These are all we used. System. System.data.sql client. System.windows.forms. Then we created instant to manage database. Connection. Command. Dataset. Data adapter, and binding source. And we created connection method here. We copied command and pasted to use for close connection. After we test the connection, we will come back to edit message box. Now we leave it to see if the connection is completed. Go to Form 1. Display Solution Explorer and Properties window. Rename the form. Right-click, and rename to Employee Form. Press Enter. Click Yes on window notification. Go to Program.cs. Double-click to see which form is the startup form. If you want to run another form, you can type in form name here. It's showing employee form as the default form for this program. Close it for now. Now, we are testing open and close connection by using the Formload event. Double-click on form title. Copy class name, DB. And paste here. Type, dot. You will see listed commands below. Now I'm using open connection method. Put in semicolon to end command. Then put in close connection method. Change form text here to employee form. Set start position to center screen. Now, start to run a program. Notification pops up. The connection is open. So, the connection is successful. Click OK. Now, the connection is closed. We set the command to open and close. I will try put in incorrect user ID and password. To see if error will occur. Test now. The program notify error message. Open connection failed. Login failed for user SA. There is an error logging in because I put in incorrect password. This is a basic knowledge for fixing error. Verify ID, password and database. Now, I will try incorrect database name. Test now. Error notification show. Cannot open database. But we know that we typed in incorrect database name. Try to read and understand error message notification. It shows where the error locate. Let's go back to correct database name. Test again. Everything is fine now. Now, we will close message box. We only use it for testing. Comment the message box code by put the double backslash and space in both open and close methods. Back to test again. The message box does not show anymore. Connection between C# and SQL database is now complete. That's it for this lecture. See you next time. Thank you very much.